Hello friends. Surely you are not unfamiliar with the fish that is known as the largest fish in the world. Come with me in this video to guess what kind of fish it is. Whaling is nothing new, but many people may be surprised to learn it is still legal in 3 countries. This practice has existed for millennia, and increased whaling has had devastating effects. 3 million whales were killed in the 20th century alone, and widespread whaling pushed some species to the brink of extinction. While some species like humpback whales have at least partially recovered with the help of protection measures, others are still struggling. Fewer than 340 North Atlantic right whales remain at sea. Today, whaling is banned in most countries around the world, but not everywhere. The 3 countries continue to hunt whales commercially, despite the lack of demand for whale meat, and opposition from environmentalists and animal advocates. Here's what you need to know about the declining whaling industry, why it persists, and the movement to stop whaling. The Norwegians and Basques were among the world's first whalers, and right whales were early targets. A slow and furry species, the right whale got its name because it was considered a whale fit to kill. Sperm whales, bowhead whales and baleen whales follow, hunting for meat, skin, blubber and oil. This, even though sperm whales are extremely dangerous to hunt. At that time, whaling was conducted with handheld spears, and some whalers did not survive the risky voyages that could last several years. Not surprisingly, it was not the workers but mainly the whaling company owners who benefited. In the United States, whaling flourished in the 1700s and 1800s, becoming a major industry in Nantucket, New Bedford, and other parts of the Northeast as whales were targeted for oil. U.S. whaling spread to Pacific and Arctic waters after Atlantic whale populations collapsed. Today, commercial activities target whales for their meat. However, historically, nearly every part of the whale has been sought after, including the blubber and oils extracted from it, cartilage and internal organs. Some whale species, including orcas and belugas, are still hunted and captured alive to be sold in captivity in aquariums and marine parks. Sperm oil is created when sperm is separated from the fatty liquid taken from the sperm whale's head and sulfur is added to it. This oil is often used in machinery and turned into fatty acids for soaps, detergents and other products. Spermaceti is not an oil but a fatty liquid wax. Spermaceti is found in the head of sperm whales. It is produced by the spermatogenic organs of animals. At room temperature, the liquid is a waxy solid. Sperm was once very popular for use in candles. Spermaceti is also used in pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. Oil extracted from blubber was once the main driving force for whaling. The price of whale oil peaked at $1.77/gallon in 1856, equivalent to more than $62 today. Strips of blubber are cut from a whale, then cut into smaller pieces while on board. The fat is then boiled, a process that turns fat into oil. The resulting whale oil was used in soap and margarine, candles, lamps, and explosives. While others think it ends up in feces. Ambrin, an alcohol extracted from ambergris, is used in perfumes. While it is now produced synthetically, naturally occurring ambergris remains popular, selling for up to $25 per gram. How are whales hunted? Although commercial whaling continues in only 3 nations, modern technology has made whales easier targets. How are whales captured? Historically, whales were stabbed with handheld harpoons that tethered them to the whaling boat. Modern whaling operations are able to use sonar to locate whales, and have trigger-released harpoons that allow whalers to keep their distance. In the past, harpooned whales would become exhausted attempting to break free from the harpoon, enabling the hunters to approach more closely and fatally stab the whale. Today's whaling operations use exploding harpoons fired mechanically from aboard the ships, though research shows that this does not necessarily mean a quicker or less painful death for the animals. Norwegian data reveals that whales can take up to 25 minutes to die from this method. Today, whales can be processed quickly by large crews. Japan has operated the world's only whaling factory vessel, capable of butchering whales while still at sea. Aiming to replace the Nissin Maru whaling operation, Japan is currently constructing a new whale processing ship. While indigenous hunts continue in parts of the world, including the United States, it and most other nations have officially banned whaling for commercial purposes. On the other hand, Iceland left the International Whaling Commission in 1992, and has continued its commercial whaling since. Following a concerning animal welfare report, Iceland halted fin whale hunting for 2023, a move that could bring the end of the nation's dwindling whaling industry. While still a member of the International Whaling Commission, Japan continued an annual Antarctic whale hunt, which the nation stated was for scientific research. However, in 2014, the International Court of Justice ruled Japan's whaling was not being used for research purposes, and ordered that Japan end its hunting under the permit granted. With domestic demand for whale on the decline, the Japanese whaling industry has recently been attempting to boost demand, selling whale meat in vending machines, as well as marketing whale to tourists and influencers. Due to the International Whaling Commission's moratorium on commercial whaling, the hunting of whales is illegal in most of the world. But as mentioned previously, 3 nations, Japan, Norway and Iceland, reject the ban and continue with large-scale whaling operations. Dolphins are technically considered whales, both are cetaceans, but not by the Commission. Japan also targets species of dolphins in an annual hunt, documented in the film The Cove, capturing the animals for slaughter, as well as for captivity in marine parks and aquariums. The whaling moratorium was decided on in 1982 and went into effect in 1986. The 88 member nations of the International Whaling Commission abide by this ban. Commercial whaling continues to be conducted by Japan, Norway, and Iceland. Commercial whaling operations are still considered legal by Iceland, Norway, and Japan, and the latter country continues to subsidize its whaling industry. The future of Icelandic whaling, currently only undertaken by one company, Hvalager HF, remains uncertain, yet the government recently declined to make a temporary ban permanent, allowing legal whaling to continue. Norway killed 580 whales in 2022, and has reportedly hunted 15,000 whales since the 1986 moratorium was established. The numbers of whales hunted by Japan has been decreasing most years, although the nation intends to ramp up its whaling operations. In 2018, Japan killed 640 whales, compared to 383 in 2021, and 270 in 2022. Iceland's 2019 to 2023 quotas permitted the killing of 217 minke whales and 209 fin whales. The Guardian reports that despite these allowances, only 1 whale was killed in the past 3 years in Iceland, as whaling companies halted their operations. Previous statements suggested that amid declining demand, whaling could be ended permanently in 2024, especially in light of an alarming animal welfare report, which revealed that 40% of whales took around 11.5 minutes to die. This finding was in violation of animal protection standards, prompting Iceland's government to cancel the 2023 fin whale season. However, as of September 1, 2023, the Icelandic government decided against a permanent ban. In addition to those killed by whaling operations, around 300,000 cetaceans die as bycatch in fishing gear annually. Opponents of whaling argue that the practice has decimated whale populations and that whaling is not sustainable. Animal advocates also believe that whales suffer a cruel death at the hands of whalers. Furthermore, researchers believe that the consumption of whale meat is bad for human health. While countries that continue whaling argue that hunting operations are sustainable, many researchers and environmental lists believe differently, citing the impact on whale numbers thus far. Sperm whales declined to 1/3 of their population prior to whaling, and up to 90% of blue whales were decimated, 2015 research concluded. Whale meat often contains high levels of mercury, prompting some experts to warn that whale meat is unsafe to consume. A 2015 report by the Environmental Investigation Agency, sampling 341 whale and dolphin products sold in Japan over the previous 15 years, found that 56% contained mercury levels above those considered safe by the government. Animal advocates believe that whales suffer a slow and agonizing death, despite today's use of exploding harpoons. Even the most advanced whaling methods cannot guarantee an instantaneous death, or ensure that struck animals are rendered insensible to pain and distress before they die, as is the generally accepted standard for domestic food animals, writes the Animal Welfare. Institute. Large-scale whaling has been outlawed by most of the world, and the recent adoption of a high seas treaty could protect many whales and other marine species from human threats. Demand for whale meat has largely vanished, and yet, whales continue to be targeted by commercial industries based in Iceland, Norway, and Japan. However, many organizations and advocates are working to end these remaining whaling operations and offer ways that individuals can get involved. You can start by protecting the North Atlantic right whale, an endangered species still recovering from the toll of whaling and entanglement in fishing gear. Eliminating one's consumption of seafood is also a powerful way to help protect all marine life from the impacts of commercial industries. Sentient Media's Take Action page is another place to find simple ways to make a difference for animals and the environment.